Everyone, welcome back to a new post today, and today let's start with the September current affairs for the UPSC upcoming preliminary examination of 2024. So we finished August current affairs for the preliminary, and this is month of September 2023. So the very first thing is about global initiative on digital health now. So this global initiative on digital health is one of the major achievements of India's G20 presidency, and it is a network managed by the WHO. It will promote equitable access to digital health by addressing the challenges in health. Now it is a platform to support the implementation of the global strategy on digital health from 2020 to 2025. Then the WHO serves as the secretariat for the strategy implementation, that is called as a global strategy on digital health from 2020 to 2025. The first WHO resolution on e-health was adopted in 2005, which led to the pathway for development and adoption of the WHO global strategy on digital health. Now this global initiative on digital health, what does it aim about? So it ultimately aims to align the efforts of the global strategy on digital health 2020-25, support the quality assured for technical assistance to develop strengthened standards based on the systems aligned to the global best practices, norms and standards, and to facilitate the use of quality assured digital transformation tools that enable the government to manage their digital health transformation journey. The global strategy on digital health was endorsed in the year 2020 and is a way to align the actions and goals while defining a roadmap towards digital health transformation. We know that we have e-Sanjeevani, which is a e-health platform which was developed by India during the COVID-19, and this digital health global initiative on digital health will enable us to address over 70% of the proposed actions in the strategy contained from 2020 to 25. So there is an Indian institute called as Indian Council of Social Science Research, which is a national body overseeing research in social sciences in India, and it was established in 1969 with the headquarters of New Delhi. So why am I talking about Indian Council of Social Science Research? Now, Government of India has many programs that are being implemented by the various ministries. So we need a lot of research methodology and statistics to be developed for analysis. So therefore, this ICSSR, which I just spoke about, is now developing Indianized methodologies to study the country's societies, and it believes that we are using the Western paradigms which is not very useful to India, and therefore cannot be used in India, and therefore it is going to develop Indianized research and methodology tools. So these tools will be used in various programs like the Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, Awas Yojana, Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana, Krishi Sinchai Yojana, etc. And also certain acts to study certain acts such as the new education policy of 2020, Black Money Imposition of the Tax, the Black Money Imposition of Tax Act of 2025, Benami Transactions Act of 2016. North Sea was in news now. So let's see who are the member countries bordering the North Sea. So we have the countries bordering the North Sea like Norway, UK, etc. So recently, the UK Prime Minister has endorsed plans for additional fossil fuel drilling off the British coast in the North Sea, aiming to enhance British or UK's energy independence. Now, the North Sea Transition Authority is responsible for regulating the industries for drilling and overseeing the 33rd offshore oil and gas licensing round. Now, the 1958 Geneva Convention on Continental Shelf is the first international legislation to establish the rights of the countries over the continental shelves adjacent to their coastlines, and that is how UK is now taking up drilling of oil and natural gas in this region, and this has paved the way for exploration of all the countries who have their coastlines or the continental shelf on the North Sea. I think you should take a look at the map and see which are the countries which are bordering the North Sea. UK's Parliament Continental Shelf Act of 1964 solidified the country's jurisdiction over the oil and natural gas resources beneath the seabed near its shores. And the next most important issue is with regard to Indian ASEAN Free Trade Agreement or Trade Pact, which was signed, and now there is a review of this Goods and Trades Pact 2025. So India and ASEAN countries reached an agreement to review their free trade pact for goods and set a goalpost of 2025 to conclude this review. A joint committee of ASEAN India Trade and Goods Agreement was signed in 2009, deliberated on the roadmap for review of the PAC. Now, the review is expected to enhance and diversify the trade while addressing. Please have a look at what is the PAC between India and ASEAN and then when it was signed. So, trade deficit, the major reason for the review of this pact is the current asymmetry in the trade, bilateral trade, and trade deficit between the region. By India's trade deficit with the region was just 7.5 billion per annum when the pact was signed, and now it is grown up and ballooned to almost $43.57 billion. The 10-member ASEAN includes Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, Brunei, Vietnam, Laos, Myanmar, Cambodia, and account for 11.3% of India's global trade in 2022-23. The next most important issue is with regard to how Vikram lander touched down on the South Pole. So Chandrayaan-3 carried the lander and the rover, but it did not carry the payload of orbiter, which was there in Chandrayaan-2. And let me tell you that Apollo 11 was the first manned mission to the moon, which took place in 1970, and it belongs to the country of USA. The rover now will carry out in situ, the rover carried out in situ chemical analysis of the lunar surface during the course of its mobility. And the lander and rover are equipped with scientific payloads. Please look into it. These payloads which are carried by Chandrayaan, and the experiments were taken over for almost 14 Earth days, which is equal to 1 lunar day. And the lunar South Pole is the southernmost point of the moon. It is of interest to scientists because of the occurrence of water ice that is permanently shadowed around this region. The lunar South Pole region features craters that are very, very unique, and in the near constant sunlight that does not reach the interior of this region. Such craters are cold traps that contain the fossil record of hydrogen, water ice, and other volatiles dating back to early solar system, when the Earth and the solar system was formed. And in contrast, the North Pole exhibits much lower quantity of similar sheltered craters. So this is of much of the interest, especially to study the solar system and the recording of hydrogen along with water ice in this region. Now, there was a food price index that was released, and the body which released this index is called as the Food and Agriculture Organization. So the food price index was introduced in 1996 for helping monitoring of developments in the global agriculture commodity markets. The FAO food price index is a measure of monthly change in the international prices of the basket of food commodities. It measures changes of cereals, oil seeds, your dairy products, meat and sugar, and the base period for this index is 2014 and 16. And a brief about the FAO is about it is a specialized agency like the WHO at the United Nations and leads international efforts to defeat hunger. The World Food Day is celebrated on 16th October, and the day is celebrated to mark the anniversary of the founding of FAO in 1945. It is one of the uniform aid organizations based in Rome, Italy, and the sister bodies are the World Food Program and the International Fund for Agriculture Development. Now, the next most important issue is with regard to India and Greece. Prime Minister Narendra Modi became the first Prime Minister to go there in 40 years. The last to go there was our very own former Prime Minister of India, Indira Gandhi. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi received the Grand Cross of Order honor. In this year, Prime Minister Narendra Modi received many orders from the government. Some of them were from Papua New Guinea. I think you should make a note about this. It is important from the prelims perspective. Now, India and Greece upgraded their relations to the strategic partnership and pledged to double a two-way trade by 2030. The visit was first by Indian Premier in 4 decades. The two countries will collaborate in defense industry and also will conclude an agreement on migration mobility to smoothen the movement of skilled population from both sides. India and Greece will strengthen that strategic partnership and expand their cooperation in fields of defense, security, infrastructure, agriculture, education, new and emerging technology, and skill development. And the last Prime Minister to visit The Greece was a former Prime Minister Indira Gandhi who toured Athens in 1983. Let me tell you that Greece is the place where the Olympics was born. And the next most important issue is with regard to the Nataraja sculpture statue, which was laid at Bharat Mandapam at the entrance for the G20 meeting. And the statue is believed to be the world's tallest, weighing 19 ton, made up of 8 metals, and it has been sent to New Delhi to be staged at the Bharat Mandapam. So it is made in Swami Malai, a small town in Tamil Nadu's Tanjavur district, known for the bronze sculptures. Now the statue weighs 19 tons and is made up of 8 metals called as Ashtadhatu, consisting of gold, silver, lead, copper, tin, mercury, iron and zinc. Now the sculptors followed a method which is very ancient, called as the lost wax casting method, which we hear about in the Gandhara sculptures of Buddha, which existed during the ancient period. So the lost wax casting method was used for creating this Nataraja statue, and this 28 feet Nataraja was made following this method. It is a time tested method since the days of the Cholas, and even older than that as well. Sculptors first make the wax model, they encase that wax model in clay. The clay is also called as alluvial soil, and it is available in the stretch of Kaveri that runs through the Swami Malai town. After allowing the clay to dry, the wax is melted and allowed to drain from the clay or the clay case, and the space left by the wax is then filled by bronze, and therefore it becomes a bronze statue. After allowing this to cool, they break the mold and then chisel the statue to perfection. So this is the lost wax method, which was also used during the ancient period in the Gandhara statue and also the Sarnath Buddha statue as well. Now, recently the awards for the smart cities were announced, and Indore, Surat and Agra got the first, second and the third prizes for the best smart cities. You should know the definition of a smart city. So according to the census of India, towns with more than 1 lakh population are called as cities. The Union Housing and Urban Affairs Ministry named Indore as the best city, Madhya Pradesh as the best state for the Smart Cities Awards of 2022. After MP, it is Tamil Nadu, and Rajasthan and Uttar Pradesh shared the third prize for the smart states. Now the cities were selected based on the ranking in the progress of project outcomes, and also presentations submitted for the awards. The Smart Cities was launched in 2015, and under it 100 cities are going to be developed. The most notable achievement under the Smart Cities is the Integrated Command and Control Centers, which is operational in all the 100 smart cities. The Integrated Command and Control Centers work as a brain and a nervous system for the city operations, using technology for urban management. The urban services have significantly improved in the diverse fields, like after the Integrated Command and Control Centers, like crime tracking has become easy, safety security of the citizens has become easy, transport management has become easy, solid waste management is there in the smart cities, water supply, disaster management, etc. And the next most important issue is with regard to the technology transfer between India and US. Now General Electric's company corporation, or GE, partnering with our own HAL or Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, has agreed to produce engines for the Tejas light combat aircraft. The collaboration reflects strengthening of military collaboration between India and US. Now the idea is to manufacture GE's F414 complex jet engines in India under the government's Atmanirbhar or self-reliance plan in order to power the country's indigenous fighter aircrafts called as the Tejas light combat aircrafts. Now the GE F404 engine previously powered the Mk1 version, and India also plans to procure 114 multi-role fighter jets in collaboration with the foreign manufacturers. US has said it is willing to go for full transfer of the jet engine technology to India, which will help in Atmanirbharta or self-reliance. Let me tell you, India holds the distinction of being a major defense partner with US, and also is in talks with Washington to conclude an air information sharing pact that will lead to greater interoperability between the air forces of both the sides, and will also help them to partner in India's military aircraft market as well. And before concluding, the last one for the day is Japan's Aerospace Exploration Agency has launched the Moon Snipper mission. Now, Japan became the fifth country in the world to reach the moon, and Japan launched the Moon Snipper mission. Japan is the world's fifth to land on the moon. The SLIM, called as a smart lander for investigating the moon, dubbed as the Moon Snipper, aims to land SLIM, or the smart lander, within 100 meters of its target site on the lunar surface, and this is much less than the usual range of several kilometers. By creating the smart lander, humans will be making a qualitative shift towards being able to land wherever they want, and just not in a place which is easy to land. This was said by the Japanese Aerospace Agency. And after Japan, now recently with Japan, United States, Russia, China and India, these are the 5 countries in the world that have landed on the moon. And this brings me to the end of the session for your first part of your September current affairs. I will be completing the next in another few parts, and I hope if you did, please do like, share, subscribe, and do not forget to comment. And I shall see you in my next post for the next session of the September current affairs for the upcoming preliminary examination. And until then, it's very happy learning.